Would it surprise you to find out that James Harden and Joel Embiid are the NBA's best pick and roll duo in 2022? This plot shows the 35 most frequent ball handler and screener combinations, which is all of the combos to log over 500 pick and rolls this season. According to Second Spectrum, Harden and Embiid ranks first in scoring efficiency, generating 1.15 points per pick and roll. That exceeds CP3 and Ayton, Trey and Capella, Luka and Powell, and a whole bunch of other duos. And if you include every other qualifying pair from the past 4 seasons, Harden and Embiid still rank first. Now that surprised me. Is this a small sample, or is this just the beginning of a special partnership between a former MVP and a potential future MVP? You wouldn't expect these kind of numbers with the way Harden is being discussed by fans and media, getting called washed up, a mistake to acquire, and maybe he is. The once revolutionary scorer has looked more ordinary. In the playoffs, Harden is averaging under 20 points on about 13 shots, low scoring numbers compared to his heyday in Houston when he averaged 28.4 points on 20.4 shots over 8 straight postseasons while leading the league in scoring 3 times and winning 1 MVP. Nowadays, when Harden gets into the paint, he lacks the same bounce he had before. He exploded and elevated in the paint a lot more than he does today. These clips are from Harden's prime in Houston. He had so much more explosiveness. There was a suddenness to his movement. And then these clips are from this season. Notice a lack of burst and verticality now compared to then. Either he's not healthy or he's just getting old at age 32, or maybe even both. The decline also shows out in the numbers. Harden is making only 33.3% of floaters this year, down from 46.7% over the past 4 seasons. Even when he gets all the way to the basket now, he's making just 48.1% of his driving layups compared to 55.7% over the past 4 seasons. Without a turbo first step anymore, he's not blown by defenders as often at this point, so teams just aren't as intimidated by him. But the pick and roll stat we mentioned at the beginning of the video does serve as a reminder that he's still part of one of the NBA's best duos, so he's got to be doing something right. We've never seen Embiid flourish in the pick and roll like he is now. Harden and Embiid link up in the pick and roll 19.2 times per game. Before this season, the previous high in his career was 8.7 pick and rolls per game. Quick trivia question. Who do you think the ball handler was? Sergio Rodriguez. That happened during Embiid's rookie year. If you got that right, congratulations to you, because I would not have. To put this into perspective, next up is Tobias Harris at 6.2 per game. Embiid and Jimmy Butler logged just 5.2. Embiid's high mark with Ben Simmons came in 2017-18 with 4.4. No one came close to what Harden and Embiid are doing together now. Harden is bringing a new side out of Embiid, not with scoring, but with playmaking. Harden gets Embiid going downhill, picking up points where he can just attack the basket on the move. You can actually see Dwight Powell kick his leg out trying to stop the pocket pass, but that didn't work. Harden has such great timing in the pick and roll that he's able to put Embiid in easier positions to catch and finish. Even when Embiid is met by size at the rim, like here against Brook Lopez, he can still score with finesse. Embiid puts so much pressure on the rim that off-ball defenders must over-help inside to account for both him and Harden, and that opens up passes like this for corner three-point shooters. Sometimes help comes sooner. Indiana sends a defender to meet Embiid at the nail before Harden lasers a pass, and there's an unpredictability to Harden's decisions. Gordon Hayward roams over to help on Embiid's roll, then Harden fires a left-handed pass to the corner again. Despite not having quite as much quickness, Harden can still get where he desires on the court, drawing 2 defenders here to open the 3 for Embiid. So much attention is focused on Harden and Embiid that scoring opportunities can open for teammates cutting to the basket, attacking off the dribble, or simply standing behind the 3-point line. Similarly to the pick and roll, Harden and Embiid are also frequently utilized in handoff actions that get Harden going downhill for potential lob opportunities to Embiid. And if the defense sags all the way into the paint, Embiid can of course pop for 3-pointers and Harden will find them. Even though Harden's points are way down since he left Houston, his assists are up to over 10 after averaging 7.7 as a Rocket. Harden is passing the ball about 10 more times per game, kicking it out on drives, and not stepping back for threes as much as he's looking for the open man. We've seen Harden take on this personality before when he led the league in assists, but at this stage of his career, maybe it's just his new norm. Harden, the pure point guard? And isn't this what the Sixers need? Simmons was Philly's point guard until the end of games when he turned into a non-shooting center with an allergy for contact. Seth Curry is a great off-ball presence, but not a lead guy. Markelle Fultz busted. Butler wanted out. Harden is self-aware. Whether his decline is due to lingering hamstring issues, conditioning, or just age, he has adjusted his game to the present condition by focusing more on his passing. With all that said, there's still questions about whether the Sixers should extend Harden, who's eligible for a 4-year, $233 million contract this summer, a deal that would pay him a whopping $60+ million when he's age 38 and 26-27. So that deal could be an albatross down the line. Just like Harden's past partners, Russell Westbrook, John Wall, but maybe not. Harden's already shown a willingness to tweak his habits on the court. Maybe he can follow the Chris Paul path, changing his diet and training to adapt to his aging body. I know it might be unrealistic to expect Harden to do that, considering he likes to have a good time off the court, and Kevin Durant himself was, quote, astonished that Harden showed up to Nets training camp out of shape. Things could get worse in Philadelphia, just like they did in Houston, just like they did in Brooklyn. But with Embiid producing at an MVP level, there should be no question the Sixers will re-sign his primary pick-and-roll partner if Harden is willing to take the $200+ million, and why would he not be? Harden could also opt into his contract for next season, or Philadelphia could try to sign and trade him. They could also just let him walk. They have other options on the table other than giving him a big money deal, because against the Miami Heat with Embiid out, they needed Harden to turn into a scorer, but he wasn't able to turn back the clock in a way that they needed. That naturally raises concern about what he can become moving forward as he ages even deeper into his 30s. I'm not James Harden, but if I was James Harden, I'd come back next season angry, motivated, ready for revenge after all of the slander for a new chapter of my career, because this partnership still needs more time together. The Sixers can get even better. I already made a whole video breaking down how Harden and Maxey complement each other so perfectly, with Harden being the methodical playmaker and Maxey being a decisive bucket getter. And then J. Kyle Mann is doing a Maxey deep dive as well. He's only 21. He's going to keep improving. The roster can improve too. Danny Green has a movable, partially guaranteed deal. Matisse Thybulle will be restricted in 2023. Tobias Harris has a soon-to-be expiring contract in 2024. With Embiid signed, a big deal for Harden, and Maxey's extension coming soon, it'll be on Daryl Morey to make it work elsewhere on the roster. Morey has never hesitated to move first-round picks with the Rockets. After acquiring Harden, Morey made only 2 first-round picks in Houston, Clint Capella in 2014 and Sam Dekker in 2015. With Philly, he's taken 2 guards, Tyrese Maxey in 2020 and Jaden Springer in 2021. Morey still has the ability to move his 2023 and 2029 first, and he can swap first in 24, 26, and 28. So there are some ways for Philly to improve the core on the trade market, and in free agency, he'd probably target sign and trades. The Sixers could use more shooting, one more ball handler, and more size behind Embiid. Morey was trying to find a second star for Harden in Houston. It didn't work with Dwight Howard. It came close with Chris Paul. Russell Westbrook failed. John Wall never had a chance. But now it's Harden who's the second star behind Embiid. The first time he's been paired with a big with skill on the perimeter and the ability to dominate in the paint. And they're working together. Even if the pieces around them aren't perfect yet, even if the coaching can improve, even if Harden himself doesn't look 100%. We're only a few months into this experiment, and the Sixers will change much more in the coming months and years, all with the intention of optimizing the James Harden and Joel Embiid pick and roll machine.